How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it's Monday here on the show, and we got a lot to talk about. You know what that means? Filthy Tom is joining us here today, which is good because we have a few MMA-related stories to talk about, including Ben Askren being in very, very serious condition, and Mark Kerr going into the UFC Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about that, as well as the big news today, Warner Brothers Discovery splitting their broadcast entities and other properties into two separate publicly traded companies by mid-2026. This could... Well, I mean, it's huge news one way or the other. This could end up being a positive for AEW, or it could end up being a negative. There's a lot of questions that have not been answered yet, but we'll talk about that here on the show today. Obviously, this weekend was a big weekend. We had Money in the Bank, as well as the AAA Worlds Collide show, Worlds Collide Excellent show, and Money in the Bank, pretty good show with a very, very surprising ending. Truth is back. We'll talk about that and all of the rest of the news from this weekend. We got a lot to get into. If you want, text us 425-780-7566, F4WOnline@gmail.com is the email, F4WOnline Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez, X, and Blue Sky. And hey, those cameos right now, just $10, everybody, just $10. So, and yes, Ron Killings is back, not R-Truth. Although it's the same guy. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sitting.
I got that one down. Sounds like my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay. What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How do you have that so quickly?
Ridiculously fast answer.
You've thought about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late, and then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack.
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody, goody.
Goody, she says. The news of you having a...
What medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit.
Eminem?
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment, Granny reads rapper names. That's
I'm an M.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Bryan and go away.
Thanks, Granny. In the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler here today as well. And, man, we got a lot to get into here today. And there's all sorts of stories that could be the top story, but I do want to wish the best to Ben Askren, who is in very, very serious condition. Got a very, very serious staph injury, or a staph infection, and then ended up with pneumonia. And it's very, very bad. His family has asked for prayers. He's in critical condition. And friends of Askren have said they do not have full details, but the situation is very, very bad. So all the best to him. How well do you know Ben Askren, or at all?
Well, I mean, I've met Ben Askren multiple times. I've run into him. We have mutual friends. Always an easy guy to talk to. Always a pleasure to see. One of the most influential wrestlers in, I would say, the history of American wrestling. He pretty much revolutionized the way that mat wrestling is done in the collegiate setting. And, he's also obviously a great freestyle wrestler, made the Olympics, a fantastic coach, a world champion MMA fighter. I myself, and I'm sure you have as well, Bryan, have dealt with staph infections, just, being around jiu-jitsu, being around wrestling, being on the mat. And I actually had one that left me bedridden for weeks before I fought Jean Vellante in the UFC. And luckily I was able to recover. But, I mean, there was a point where I couldn't get out of bed. I was in so much pain. And you can do all of the, you can take all the precautions that you want. I was using one of those, Hibiclens, one of those antimicrobial soaps that you're supposed to use. And I got a really bad staph infection. And there's been other people like King Mo, Kevin Randleman. There's been a number of fighters in the past who have run into this and, almost had their lives taken. And this was not something I expected to hear about, especially from somebody who, every time we see him, he's healthy. It's not like he's, falling apart. I mean, he's out there coaching. He's a prominent member of the amateur wrestling community. And to see this happen just kind of, makes you realize that everybody's health is really fragile. And my best wishes go out to Ben Askren, as I'm sure most people's do. And I hope to see him make a full recovery and be back on the mats.
All right. It was rumored for a long time, but it was announced today by Warner Brothers Discovery. They'll be splitting their various broadcast entities and other properties into two separate publicly traded companies by mid-2026. One will be called Global Networks, which will be the TV, aspect of this. TBS, TNT, Discovery Plus, Bleacher Report, headed by Gunnar Weidenfels, who was the current chief financial officer.
Sign that guy to a contract now. Is he going to NXT with that name?
The other, that's way too good a name to go to NXT. The other will be streaming and studios, which will be the WBD Movie Studio, DC Studios, and WBD Television Production, HBO. The soon-to-be renamed HBO Max Streaming, where AW can be seen, and the TV and media libraries. My allergies are so bad today. I'm dying. Absolutely dying. But anyway, so what does this mean? Well, in the short term, probably nothing, because AW has a contract with WBD. But their deal ends in 2027. there is an option year, but the problem with the option year is, I mean, do you pick up an option year when you don't even have that same... I mean, everything will be changed by the time the option year comes. What this basically means is that their current deal is just... It's a WBD deal. So it's television, it's streaming on Max, it's one of these days probably pay-per-view on Max. Maybe WBD is getting a cut of the pay-per-views. We really don't know. But once this takes place, they will not be able to get the same deal again. They will have to make changes. If they want a streaming aspect, they're going to have to make a deal for streaming and a separate deal for television. So how are things doing streaming? How are things doing on television? You know, it may be a situation where, you know, on the plus side, maybe they'll get a lucrative streaming and television deal when this current deal is up. However, if streaming is not doing well, or if the television isn't doing well, it's possible that, hey, you know, we'll give you a deal for streaming, but we ain't giving you a deal for television, or vice versa. So there's a lot of questions. David Zaslav, who is the guy that pretty much was behind the whole WB deal for AEW, he's not going to have anything to do with TV anymore. And so they're going to have to deal with this Gunnar Weidenfels if they want to make a new television deal coming up in 2027. So there's a lot of questions. I think the main gist of all of this is now is not the time to coast. They need to get their numbers up. They need to get streaming numbers up. Maybe not up, but I mean they're if you look at how they're doing fine. Obviously, up would be better. Obviously, down would be worse. So they got a couple of years to stabilize or grow, and then it'll be time for a new television negotiation now with apparently a streaming and a television Warner Brothers Discovery. So we'll have a lot more on this tonight with Dave, and he's also got a story that he's going to be putting up on the front page here very soon with tons of details about all of this. But could be good news for AEW, could be very, very bad news for AEW. We shall see what happens in 2 years. Also, Tom, you're here, so we should talk about this MMA note here. Mark Kerr is going to the UFC Hall of Fame, and The Rock, who is playing Mark Kerr in the Smashing Machine movie, he will be there as part of the ceremony.
Yeah, I believe he's going in the Pioneer Wing, they call it. Mark Kerr really didn't have very many UFC fights. Maybe only 2, maybe 3 if I went back and looked. He did the majority of his best work in Pride, and really for a short time, he probably was the best heavyweight fighter on the planet, but I mean, that time was for less than a year, I would say. Mark Kerr is one of those guys who, you know, actually, Brian, if you remember, when we were talking to Kurt Angle mentioned wrestling against Mark Kerr in the lead up to the 1996 Olympics, right? And then you look, and about 6 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, he's fighting in Pride in Japan in that time. So kind of a wild swing there, and really he was done. His prime was done pretty much after this Grand Prix tournament. Obviously, this kind of ties into the Smashing Machine movie, which they're looking to get a ton of eyes on. But, you know, the UFC Hall of Fame is kind of like the WWE Hall of Fame, right? It really doesn't matter who goes in. They put in who they want. They put in fights so that you can have certain fighters in the Hall of Fame, even if they're not Hall of Fame caliber fighters per se. But I'm always happy to see one of these legends from the past get a little bit of shine. You know what I mean? I think the last time we would have seen Mark Kerr in action would have been Yama.
Yama?
I think so. Did he fight Oleg Taktarov?
Did Yama have that gimmick, the frying pan? Which one was that?
Excuse me.
Which one had the frying pan that you fought in?
Yeah, Yama.
Okay, it was Yama.
Yama pit fighting.
Yama.
Oleg Taktarov versus Mark Kerr.
Yama pit fighting. All right. Well, we got to talk about R-Truth. So we're going to do that when we come back from the break. Because if you haven't heard, he's back.
What?
And we'll be back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Jared, put old Granny on. Let's see what she's up to. Oh, man, she's doing something. Oh, Lord.
She's trying to plug in the box, Brian.
Granny can't connect. And so I call her on the phone, and she alerts us that she apparently knocked the box off her desk. Whatever's happening right there, that doesn't look good. She knocked down the camera now? What's going on?
She's got a hold of the camera, I think.
She's okay. Well, we've got the ceiling at least. There's the box. Hey, we got the box, Jared. Does it look like it's plugged in?
No.
It's definitely not on.
No.
Okay. That's her back, I believe. She appears to be doing something.
Apparently yoga.
That's her hair. Are we sure that's not Ric Flair? Now she's got to find the phone, too.
Think anyone's going to still subscribe after the show?
I hope we get a bunch of video signups. This is interesting.
Is it now?
Oh, man, we can almost see the front of the tie line to see if it's on. But we can't. We can only see the side of it, as well as a flashlight and dice. I don't know why there are dice there.
Well, you never know when you're going to play dice in the dark.
She's still doing something.
That's good radio, boss.
Show that again, what's she doing?
You know what's a good show is the Big VV show.
Is it?
Or if you Pod Armenia 2025.
She might be tying her shoe or something.
Ed and
down
San
there.
Antonio show.
Granny is furiously doing something. It's possible that we should sabotage the box every week.
No!
So that she can, get up and down, like Roddy Piper once said. No, I know. I'm calling you. Phone. I'm calling you. Oh, my God. How are you?
I'm exhausted. Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. That sounded very sincere.
Stunning review. Well,
Anyway.
can we please make that into a commercial, Jared, for Vinny's show? Apple Podcast carries every podcast that we produce.
Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
So check it out, f4wonline.com/Apple. Try your free trial today. What is happening here? Yes, Granny?
I don't care if it's show or what. My computer went out and I can't fix it.
Okay. Jared, can you fix Granny's computer?
But he tried to get a pin.
I am Steve.
Brian, what are you doing?
Now my child is sending me a voice message.
Steel chicken jockey.
We're on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Philly Tom's joining us here today. Money in the Bank ended. You know, it's funny, I'll step back a little bit. So, I was watching Money in the Bank, and about 2 hours in or so, I'm expecting them to do the video package for this John Cena tag team match. It's literally a tag team match. There's like nothing on the line, no titles, no title shots. The two champions are in there, but like it's not. I mean, it's just a tag team match. And instead, they start bringing out all the dudes for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I was like, what? The tag match is going on last? I was like, that's kind of weird. So they bring out everybody for Money in the Bank, and it's It's a really good match. You know, they do all this crazy stuff and it's Money in the Bank and everything like that. And then they bring out the tag to go on after Money in the Bank. And it's just like, this match sucks. I think the match went like 25 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. But like the first 12, 15 minutes, I mean, it just sucked. And so right then I knew like something's happening. I don't know what it is, but like something's definitely happening on this show. And if you're one of my subscribers on X, or if you read the reports I put up on the front page for subscribers, it was about Friday that I figured out, okay, hold on a second. And it actually started on Monday's Raw when the fans started chanting for Truth in 2 matches on Raw. They were chanting Truth's name. And, you know, for those of you that aren't watching WWE nowadays, it ain't 2019 anymore, 2018, 2019. The fans are not hijacking shows. They don't do that anymore. And but they did. They started chanting Truth's name on Monday during Raw. And I thought, how about that? And then on Friday, you know, at the beginning of SmackDown, we had more chants for Truth at the beginning of the show. And somebody there had sent me a message. They go, you know, if these fans keep chanting, this guy's going to be coming back. And I thought, you know what? Probably right. It's just probably right. It's happened before. You know, remember Drake Maverick did that tearful. He was like so sad, and then he quickly got rehired. And they've done this with other guys. But let me tell you something. At the end of SmackDown, okay, John Cena's in the ring with Logan Paul, and these fans start their "We Want Truth" chant, okay? And John Cena, he hears the crowd, and he goes, "You can't handle the truth." And like as soon as he did that, I thought, man, this dude's coming back. I don't know when, but like this guy's coming back. And he acknowledged the Truth chants throughout the entire thing. Now, what I cannot tell you for sure is when exactly they made the deal to bring Truth back. I can say this because I know that some people, you know, there are always people that are like, it's been a work from day one or whatever. What I can tell you is that 100% his contract was expiring. He was told, you know, whatever. I don't know if they negotiate. I don't know if they even negotiated. I don't even think they did. And he did that deal, and he was gone, you know. And he then proceeded to start setting up a whole bunch of stuff for, you know, later this summer and whatever, you know. So you don't do that if this is an angle. I mean, he was going out, and he was, I don't know how you want to term it exactly. He was going to be busy, and now he's not, because he was brought back on Sunday. He ran in a hoodie. He laid out John Cena.
He speared John Cena to make you think it was Roman Reigns.
Yep.
He was all covered up.
And he took off his hood, and it was not R-Truth. Apparently, part of the negotiations to bring him back is that he is now Ron Killings. So the way it was explained to me was like the contract thing happened, and he started to make plans to move on from WWE. And then there was all the blowback. You know, the wrestlers were unhappy, and social media was unhappy. Then they started chanting during shows and everything like that. And so they got a hold of Truth, or actually, I think they called Truth, and he wasn't going to answer. And so eventually, Nick Khan, who's, you know, he's basically the new Vince McMahon. He got a hold of Truth, and they negotiated. And my understanding is that, you know, Truth wanted one thing, they wanted it less, obviously, and they met in the middle. And I'll bet you anything that part of meeting in the middle is, I'm not reporting this because I don't know for sure, but I'd bet you good money that what happened was he agreed to take a little bit less money if he got to come back under Ron Killings. Because, you know, when his contract, you know, when he's actually gone for real this next time, he'll be able to be Ron Killings, you know, on the circuit, on the indie scene, on the autograph scene, on the wherever, and make a lot of money that way. So I would guess that that's the way this whole thing worked out. But he's back. He's Ron Killings. And for reasons I cannot explain, Triple H was asked about this on at the press conference. And he tried to claim it was part of the show. And
he said, enjoying the show, all part of the show.
Yes. At which point, Truth's son basically tweeted that he was lying. And then somebody else tweeted something, and Truth just basically tweeted, not a work. That was it. So, and it wasn't a work. I mean, I know that from other ancillary things. But anyway, hey, you know what? Like when he was first released and everybody was outraged, what did I say? I said, man, you guys can be outraged and everything, but this guy, he had a great career. He made a lot of money. This dude's set. We should be celebrating the career that he had. But you know what? You people, you fans, you got the guy his job back. So congratulations, everybody. All around, congratulations to Truth, Ron Killings, all the fans who wanted him back. Way to go, guys.
Is he now a main eventer?
He may be, for all I know. He probably hopes not. He was making a lot of money to not have to do anything. And when you're 53 years old, look at John Cena, dude. He's younger than I am. He's like 40, what is he, 47? I think he's 47 years old. This guy is immobile. I mean, he can't do anything. He's hurting everywhere. I mean, it's brutal, dude. Make your money doing nothing at that age.
Let's think about this. You watch AAA when Worlds Collide, right?
Yeah.
Dalise, 50 years old. 50. I was like, what?
She's 50 years old, dude.
Couldn't believe it. Good for
John
her.
Cena is he just turned 48, man. Truth is 5 years older than John Cena. So I don't think he wants to go out there and kill himself. He's probably quite happy doing the comedy gimmick and wrestling here and there. And of course, he got hurt recently, so he was out of action for a long time. Person wants to know who looks better in the ring right now, Tanahashi or Cena. Tanahashi. Like, there's not even an argument here. Like, I got nothing against John Cena, and I think deep down he knows the exact same thing, that he probably should have done this earlier.
He has said it publicly.
Yeah.
He said that he can't do the things that he wants anymore.
No. I mean, he was worse in the ring than Pagano this weekend.
Don't you dare.
No, he was. Tom, he was.
I know. Don't you besmirch Pagano.
I didn't besmirch him. I said he didn't
put him on the same level.
I mean, he botched every spot that he did in the ring, but
that is the Pagano,
fell down really well.
That is the Pagano experience, my friend. That's exactly what you're going to get out of him. That's exactly what you want. You want to see Pagano out there exchanging holds with somebody? No. You want to see that man go splat on the pavement just like he did in that 6-man.
Oh, man, this guy goes, John Cena or Kota Ibushi. I heard Kota Ibushi is doing a lot better. But the Kota Ibushi from about maybe 2.5, 3 years ago when he had that really horrible match in December of that 1 year.
With Marufuji?
Yeah, dude, this John Cena is way better than that Ibushi. So. And I believe that, Kota is still under AW contract. The story is he's doing better. He could be back soon. So, guess we'll see. We got a lot more news, but first off, Raw tonight's got Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. And all I know about this is not a spoiler because I don't know who wins, but I was told they've got quite the interesting finish planned, whatever it is. We got the return of Nikki Bella.
I have an idea.
Well, let me finish the lineup, then you can do it. Tournament begins for the King and Queen of the Ring. Seth Rollins will be there, and John Cena will be there as well. What's your idea?
I think that Seth Rollins is going to walk away. Oh, never mind. Move on. I thwarted my own theory in my head.
I'm glad that you had time to think about that and still...
Well, Well, the thing that throws the wrench in this plan is that Goldberg going to have this Goldberg and Gunther match everybody thinks about. Otherwise, Seth Rollins could easily screw Gunther here. It either leads to Seth Rollins winning the belt and defending against King Gunther at SummerSlam, or Gunther wins tonight and Seth Rollins is the king of the ring and challenges him at SummerSlam. But maybe I'm wrong on both accounts.
Oh my God, you're out of your mind. We'll talk about this after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Okay, can everyone hear it?
Yeah.
There's a mystery bell at Granny's house. She can't hear it. Take off your headphones for a second.
I had them on wrong anyway.
Okay.
I can't get them on right. What?
Take them off and listen.
You have in your elbow?
Is the fan on a computer?
Nothing.
All right. Well, this is going to be an exciting show.
Gonna have bells ringing through the whole thing, and it's every week. It's got to be me.
Do you have a neighbor that's an ice cream man
No,
practicing out there?
I got a neighbor that smokes marijuana.
I'm sure you do. I guess
Whatever that noise is, I mean, it's still going.
Yeah, it's not going to stop, dude.
Brian, do you want me to get off here and go see if open the door and see if there's anything out there?
You think something's out the front door?
Is he ringing the bell the entire time?
No, Granny, you don't.
Let me in! Let me in!
It's fine. It's fine.
If it's death, don't open the door.
Thank you, Craig. This person thinks it's a stove timer.
Have you burned the roast?
No, I don't have a stove. You want me to just get off here?
No. We're going to barrel through it.
I'd love it.
You're not even doing anything. Granny, Nick says that you've got an old-fashioned analog alarm clock in Terry's bedroom.
I don't know. I got a new alarm clock, battery operated. Is that what she meant?
Well, whatever it is, it's going haywire right now.
Oh, it might be my alarm,
Do you think?
but it's way back in the bedroom.
Don't worry about it right now. But when the show's over, you might want to go...
That's what it is.
Okay.
Solve the mystery.
Is there a reason you didn't turn it off when it started ringing?
Well, I wasn't in there. I didn't.
Duh.
I took a nap. I took a nap and set the alarm. I thought I shut it off, but I probably didn't.
No.
You probably didn't.
That's life.
I would say with a good deal of certainty that you didn't turn it off.
Brian, that's life around here.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I do the show with Dave, too.
Say,
Hear all sorts of things in the background.
did I do that? You know,
Yeah, you did do that.
I thought I did that, but I didn't.
In there.
I wake up and I see lights on, and I say, I didn't turn those lights on. What's going on?
Maybe the place is haunted.
Could be.
Okay.
It's my brain that's haunted.
Well, I hope not. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Oh, hi. So, bro, why would the Money in the Bank briefcase holder even be in the King of the Ring tournament? I mean, you
Why
could
not?
do it, but, like, he's got a shot at any belt anytime he wants. Why would he need to be in a tournament to win a shot at a belt?
Why not double up? Stack it.
Seems stupid to me.
Well, we're discussing professional wrestling.
I think Goldberg is going to interfere tonight to set up. But you know what? Here's another thing about Goldberg. I could be totally wrong. I'm just making stuff up. So, listen. He's in the press of late. He's got a match. He's got a retirement match coming up, okay? He stated he knows when it is, but like he's having, it's tough to train and everything like that. So it's June. SummerSlam's coming up in what, early August? Right? Don't we have
I don't even know. End of July now? I don't know. They
Look-
moved all these shows around.
Yeah, I gotta actually look.
I think it's in July,
Might be actually.
which
Yeah, this is the problem. It was easy in the old days when like everything was where it used to be. Now everything's moved. All right, so the next pay-per-view is Night of
Great
Champions
Balls of Fire.
in Riyadh. So it's possible that that he would work the Riyadh show because there's just like so much more money. If he's doing his retirement match to get a lot of money, he very well could do it in Riyadh. And then we've got Great American Bash, which is, basically head-to-head with AEW. And then SummerSlam, I don't think he'll be on the Evolution pay-per-view. SummerSlam is August 2nd, so it's the first week of August. So really, I mean, my guess is that Goldberg is retiring, like, soon. So that would mean either Riyadh or SummerSlam would be my guess. And to do Riyadh, he would pretty much have to interfere tonight because that show's coming up in 2.5 weeks. So maybe SummerSlam is more likely. If the Goldberg retirement is with Gunther in Riyadh, he's interfering tonight. That's my thing. But the other thing is that I wanted to mention is people have talked about, Karrion Kross has done some interviews making some comments. And what would you do for Goldberg's retirement? Because if you do it with Gunther, I don't think they're having him squash Gunther. You're going to have more of a match. It's going to be an easier match because, Gunther is going to work an easy style. But you do Karrion Kross, and you can do like an old-school 2-minute Goldberg squash match, retirement. You don't get hurt, and everybody's happy. So what would you do, Tom?
Goldberg versus Gunther.
Yeah? Look at your face. Just asking.
Brian, if you ever bring up wins and losses from people ever again and then come on a show and suggest Karrion Kross getting the shot at Goldberg.
I suggested Karrion Kross only because Karrion Kross has been doing interviews talking about Goldberg. What is the point of him doing that if Goldberg has one more match? I'm not saying that's what it should be. I'm saying that's what it might be because the guy's been doing promos talking about him.
On WWE TV?
Well, on wherever Karrion Kross does his stuff.
Thank you.
Bro, who did they put in there with Kurt Angle for his retirement match?
Baron Corbin, but they did like weeks of build to it. Not on the internet.
Just saying, bro. I don't know. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just making points here. Do you know what I'm saying? No, you don't? Okay. Let's talk about these shows. Did you watch both of them?
Which ones? There was like 30 shows.
God,
there was SmackDown, there was Worlds Collide, UFC.
Who cares
TNA?
about SmackDown? SmackDown's like totally... It's lame duck after the pay-per-view. Worlds Collide, I thought, was an excellent show. Very quickly, we had the Mr. Iguana Aerostar Octagon Jr. versus Cruz del Toro, Lindsay, and Dragon Lee match. And Octagon hit his flipping SOS slam off the top, got the pin. Very fun match. 3.5 stars. Old Mr. Iguana, the most over guy on the show. This guy's going to be a millionaire soon. I liked it.
Most over guy of the weekend. He was at Money in the Bank,
Well,
and the crowd,
truth.
people were going crazy for the iguana. What's the iguana's name?
I don't remember.
La something. La Yencha? I don't know.
Then we had Dom cutting a promo challenging Octagon for Money in the Bank, which, dude, this is one where I'm going to be like, it's because of you fans. You know why they did this? Because so many people were whining that there were only 4 matches at Money in the Bank. I can't believe there's only 4 matches at Money in the Bank. So they were like, fine, here's a 5th match. Got 2 minutes. You happy now? Come on.
La Yezka.
Stephanie and Lola versus Dalis and Cheek Tormenta. Steph got the win. Didn't have a ton of time, but it was good for what it was. Thanks, Tom. Legado del Fantasma versus
Dallas, 50 years old. Wow.
Psycho
Can't believe
Clown,
it.
Iho,
Hey,
Dr. Wagner Jr., and Pagano. This was almost a AAA special. Almost. But it was a WWE match, and so, Legado del Fantasma, very professional. And, the Clowns and Iho, Dr. Wagner Jr., they did a good job. But it was not like an out-of-control, like if this had been on a AAA show, it would have been a calamity. But it was on this show, and so they managed to largely pull it together. It had its highs and lows, depending on if Pagano was in there or not. But overall, I had a fun time watching it.
El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. is fantastic. I think that they should have given him the win in this match. I was kind of surprised that he actually took the fall from Santos. I mean, they've been having, dissension amongst the ranks on that side for months, it seems. So this would have been a perfect opportunity to have the AAA team get the win. They could have had El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. get the win, or they could have just had my guy Pagano go out there and put somebody through a table.
We had the Ethan Page, Javon Evans, Phoenix, and Laredo Kid for the North American title.
The right man won.
Yeah, this is one of those matches I do on with my cameos. A couple of guys, we do prediction contests and everything. And this was one of those matches where when I actually broke it down in my head, I was like, Ethan Page needs to retain because Phoenix isn't winning, Laredo Kid's not winning. And Javon Evans, he's never won a singles title in NXT. And it should be like a feud, like a good feud, put some time in, singles match, get the big win. It shouldn't be here. And so, it was just, Ethan's got to win. But then, they kept beating Javon on TV. And I was like, there's only two options. You're either morons or he's winning the title. Well, the answer is they're morons. So I foolishly picked Javon just because he'd done so many jobs. But the actual correct right man won. And it was a good match. Very good match. Excellent match, in fact.
Now what happens? Does Sean Legacy beat Ethan Page, and then we get Legacy and Javon? Does Javon eventually win it from Ethan Page for his big title run?
I think Javon,
a few options.
Yeah, I don't think Sean Legacy is going to win. But I think that'll be a real good match. And then Chad Gable, Vikingo for the Mega title. It's the best match on the show. I talked about this on Bryan and Vinny. I always hear, this WWE developmental system, who have they ever created? Blah. Dude, they've created a lot of people. And one of them is Chad Gable. This is not a guy that went out on the indies. He's not a guy that went to Japan. He started, and he is incredible. And he can work with anybody.
I don't think he started there.
They had a fabulous match. And Vikingo, he did crazy stuff, but he didn't kill himself, which is important. And he ended up winning with the 630 in the ring after hitting a 630 off the post to the outside, which was nuts. And just a great, great match. And then Chad Gable went across town for that Money in the Bank match. Don't play that game with me, Tom.
Well, Chad Gable worked the indies in 2012, so thank you.
Stop. Money in the Bank. Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and Stephanie. And Naomi, she won. And this was another one. Like, Naomi was who should have won, but they kept beating Roxanne, and so I thought, well, Roxanne must be winning. Nope. It is Naomi. So this will all play in everything they're doing on SmackDown with that women's title. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I said it before. I'll say it again. I think we're looking at Jade Cargill defeating Tiffany Stratton for the belt. And then Naomi will cash in and take her rightful place atop that women's division because she has been spectacular in this angle with Jade Cargill and Bianca so far. And I don't think it's going to let up anytime soon. I'm a big fan of this Naomi character right now.
And we had Dominic and Octagon, which Dominic won in 4 minutes, clean with the frog splash. That was fun. Lyra and Becky for the women's Intercontinental title. Becky pinned her using the tights. It was a good match. And then afterwards, Lyra begrudgingly raised her hand as they'd agreed to. But then Becky said, no, that corner, that corner, that corner. Now put it around my waist. So Lyra snapped, gave her a German and a Nightwing, and everybody cheered. And I guess maybe this must continue, although it seems like it's run its course. But we'll see what they do tonight. Men's Money in the Bank. Excellent match. There was like 8 million things that happened in this match. The two big stories are Seth won. That's number one. And number two, they pulled the trigger on Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa. And he told him, I hate you. He yanked him off the ladder. PME, put him through a ladder bridge. Place went wild. And really, this was a match, like it was a very good match, but the extracurriculars and the stuff like that, actually made the match better. So Jacob Fatu, full babyface now. He's going to be teaming with this new geek Solo Sikoa, which is far superior to the Street Fighter of the Islands. He has come into his own as a dork, and I like it. Then the main event was John Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, which is noted. Cody pinned Cena. So maybe that's SummerSlam. And there was a big argument between Logan Paul and John Cena, which actually started on TV and continued here. And I think that, to me, I don't know if it was Rock's idea to turn John Cena heel.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Is this...
Dude, it's
got
to end.
What we're building towards?
No.
This is going to be his last match?
No, what I'm saying is it needs to end. Like, this heel turn, like, they did it. It has sucked. He is much better as a babyface in terms of, like, what he needs to do in the ring. He wouldn't have to bump as much. He could just lay there and sell more. He just needs to be a babyface. This heel thing isn't working. We did it. It was a failure. Let's undo it, and let's move on to the last 6 months with John Cena as a babyface. That's where I think we need to go here. Back in a moment, everybody. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. What was up with this week? Everyone thinking Monday was Tuesday.
Well, that was just
Everyone?
you, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it happened, it was like I got all these people that were messaging me going, my God, I thought it was Tuesday too today. It was like something happened with like the moon or something, and it caused everybody to think that Monday was Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's like, God, am I losing it?
Yes.
Have you ever lost something and gave up all hope before finding it in an obvious place?
Yeah, my mind. I went to go make her the quesadilla, and I opened up the pantry, and there's no tortillas. I looked down on the ground, and there's the package that they used to be in, but there's no tortillas. So I call Hanale over, and she says, well, I didn't know how to close the bag.
Uh-oh.
So I put them all in a box of light bulbs. I said, why did you put them in a box with light bulbs? Swear to God, she goes, if that box is good enough for light bulbs, it's good enough for tortillas. And I said, no, that's not worse. I open the box, these tortillas are hard as a rock.
She is so your daughter.
Crumbling to dust.
It's insane.
God.
I lost my wallet at the Alamo Dome. The next day, I got a call from an usher that he found it. When I met up with him, everything was still in it. He refused to accept any money from me.
Wow.
Wow. I once lost my wallet in El Segundo.
Lantian says Big Dave's sanity.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he found it then. It's right there. It's never lost.
99% of the time, no matter where I park, I always know exactly where it is. But there's always that 1% of the time where is my car?
Dude.
And it's like in a bizarre place. Like, what was going on? All right, Granny, what do we got?
We need to buy you a machine that you speak into, and it converts your voice into text.
Oh, my God.
So you don't have to write it down anymore.
Absolutely not.
And then I think even better, we put that text into a text-to-voice app and have it read her.
Oh, my God.
Whatever. Stacy Keebler, her and Tori had a eggnog fight. Just a minute here.
Okay.
Lose my page.
Then he
I
looks
decided to
completely depressed over there.
take something from down below.
Mind your own business.
They're like,
Ray Kinsella builds a baseball field
Field
on
of
his
Dreams. Kevin Costner.
baseball.
James Earl Jones.
If you build it, they will come.
Iowa.
Oh, all right.
You didn't let me finish the question, Brian.
She's right.
Oh, she yells at me. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler, how you feeling? Didn't ask.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
Sunburnt.
When do you go back? Yeah, what happened at the beach? I heard you were hit on.
Well, yeah. Some woman was offering me drinks, asked me to go for a walk with her. And I said, you know what? Actually, I was about to go back up to my spot and read my book. And she goes, oh, yeah. Have fun up there reading your crypto bro book. And I laughed. And I said, what exactly kind of crypto do you think I'm reading about? She said, cryptocurrency. And I said, oh, no. What I'm reading about is cryptozoology, my friend. The science of Bigfoot's Loch Ness Monster, the Yeti, the Yowie, all the good stuff.
That's right.
But, yeah, I'm going back to the doctor today, so I'll have an update for you on Wednesday. There you go.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, everybody. We'll be back tonight with Dave. We had a lot of shows this past weekend. There was a Money in the Bank show with Vinny and I. We talked about that in Worlds Collide. Dave and Garrett were up 2 nights in a row. Dave and I back tonight. And a Bryan and Vinny show tomorrow with Granny. We'll be talking Mid-South Wrestling. So a lot of stuff. And back here tomorrow with Lance Storm. We'll talk some TNA. There was a TNA paper this weekend as well, so we'll discuss that. And plenty more. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.